Good afternoon, everybody. What's up? How everybody doing, man? We back with a midday update. This your boy Perk Time Podcast with the Blast, man. We simulcasting live on 3 channels again, man. Let me know, man, how it sound, man. How's everybody doing today, man? We doing real good, man. We out there podcast land. How's everybody doing out there in podcast land today, man? How we doing out there in podcast land today, man? We've been kicking much ass and much tail over there on the Roger Report Live, man. But we back in the building. We back, everybody. Let's get some more hand claps for your boy Perfect Timing, man, and then the whole audience, man. 5.0, 5.0, 5.0, man. How's everybody doing, man? Let's get that update music, man. Everybody, let everybody know, man. It's update time, man. Time for the midday update, man. That's right, everybody. It's time for the midday update with your boy Perfect Timing. You hear that update music in the background. We got an update on a couple stories here today. We got Bill Cosby, Dylan Rounds, Felicia Johnson. As I check my analytics, man, this is what people are searching for. This is what people want to hear about. So this is what we're going to talk about here today. Make sure you share the show. Let everybody know, man, as we get the intro going, man. No intro music, just the intro. Just that good fire you up, man. You know what I'm saying? We back, Perfect Time Podcast, back 3 channels, man. Perfect Time Podcast Live. We also live on Facebook, live under Patrick Potter. Don't forget to check me out on Instagram at perfect_time_podcast. Check us out on Facebook on Patrick Potter. Check us out on TikTok, Rick Rock, all of the social media applications. Whatever drop, we're going to log on to it. We're going to be on there to make sure y'all catch us everywhere, man. Right now today, we're just doing a little midday update. We're going to be in here for about an hour-long show. Not a long stream, not a long live stream, but there's a couple cases that's been going on today on the Roger Report. We talked about victims and victimization, and that kind of like spearheaded my research today as I went into my analytics. So I came up with some of these cases that people have been researching. So hopefully people like the research that we did today, give you a couple updates. So first on the list is Bill Cosby. You know, it's Wednesday. All we do is win Wednesdays. You know what I'm saying? This is what we do. Woo Wednesdays. You know what I'm saying? Woo Side Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? It's the top of the mountain for everybody making it to the top of the mountain. You know what I'm saying? Now it's all downhill. You got Thursday, which is a pre-Friday celebration. Then you got Free Fries Friday. So celebration to everybody. Bless everybody coming in the chat. Bless everybody watching in the replay and everything. You know what I'm saying? So you didn't reach the top of the mountain on a Wednesday. Woo Wednesday. Remember the woo side. You know what I'm saying? Remember to woosah. Take a moment to take a deep breath. So hopefully some of these cases and things like this give you pause and give you reverence to take a look at your life and count your blessings. You know what I'm saying? Most definitely count your blessings, because we don't have to be here. You know what I'm saying? Let's say a prayer real quick. God, thank you for the opportunity to come in today. Again, giving us this platform and share this opportunity with my guests. May the message today be divinely inspired. I ask all these blessings in your name to bless those who listen. Please give us safe passage. Give those who listen safe passage. I ask all these blessings in your name. Amen. Yo, we super blessed, man. We in the building once again. Perfect Timing Podcast with the blast going up, all the way up. So Bill Cosby, one of my highest rated videos was a Bill Cosby video. When I first started doing really big numbers, it was I was one of the first people in the section who brought out a lot of the facts about Bill Cosby, because I was a fan of Bill Cosby from a child, right? So when they started saying all these lies about Bill Cosby, a lot of the things didn't jive with what I had done. I had done book reports on Bill Cosby. Like, I knew he had an actual PhD. You know what I'm saying? He used Fat Albert in his dissertation. A lot of people didn't know that Dr. Bill Cosby actually had a real PhD, and he actually wrote a dissertation. He had a PhD from Temple and other colleges that were given to him, but he actually earned his doctorate degree in education. When I was young, I would watch him on the educational channel. He would have the Black Hornet, the Brown Hornet, and he would do educational videos with that pen in between Fat Albert, and he would talk about activism during the 70s, about what blacks. So his activist statements were not new. He always had an activist vantage point. So when they start talking about Bill Cosby, I always had a problem with it. So when he was vindicated, I was very excited that he was vindicated, because I believe he was innocent the whole time. So I did a video about all the facts of the case and why I already knew that he was going to be overturned, because you had never had anything like this happen in history, where you had 5 people. Now, you have it happen in the R. Kelly case, but they used the RICO to get around the constitutional rights. But in the Bill Cosby case, you have 5 women testify who had never been validated, or their stories had never been validated by police. And they were it's basically hearsay. We all know what hearsay is, from the schoolyard playground, right? But today we have an update in a very odd case. So what happened with the Bill Cosby? After all of those women, I said that Bill Cosby should sue women for lying. After the Bill Cosby case, I said Bill Cosby should sue those women for lying. And I believe that he should have sued those women for lying, because if I am now acquitted and it is proven that you women lied, then I should be able, just like Johnny Depp. See, Bill Cosby should have followed the steps of Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp risked everything to sue Amber Heard. Johnny Depp didn't have to sue Amber Heard. It wasn't a criminal case. And then he put all of his dirty laundry out there, the drugs and everything. Bill Cosby should have sued Andrea Constance and sued those women for lying. Straight up. Because in the lieu of him not filing a lawsuit against those women for liable, which he did in the beginning with Gloria Allred, he actually won that case. He's actually won a liable case against Gloria Allred. That was the precipice to all of this. He won a case of liable for $10 million. But I believe he should have sued just like Johnny Depp, because I'm innocent and you women lied. But in lieu of him not suing, what you have happening now is you have now Bill Cosby being found liable for sexual assault of a 16-year-old girl back in 1975. If you see my thumbnail, this woman looks like she's like 50 years old. This woman looks like she's 50 years old. So this woman, Bill Cosby is what, 80 years old? Bill Cosby almost 90 years old. And now this woman brings the lawsuit. Look at this woman, man. This woman almost 50 years old. This woman is almost 50 years old. And this woman in the thumbnail, this 50-year-old woman, sued a 90-year-old man after he was acquitted for all of those rape charges. So people saying Me Too is over. Me Too is not over. It's obvious to me that Me Too is not over, because look at what's happening to Bill Cosby. Look at what's happening to Bill Cosby. I don't understand it. Can anybody explain this to me? So the first update that we got is a video talking about what happened to Bill Cosby. You can look in the comment section and check out the message that I have pinned, so you can check out what we're talking about here today. I'm gonna share the show real quick. I gotta promote myself, man. You know what I'm saying? We talk about loving ourselves, man. It's Wild Wednesday, you know what I'm saying? Woo Wednesday, Woo Saw Wednesday. And you gotta love yourself, man. Nobody gonna love you if you don't love you. So you gotta promote yourself, man. And it ain't always easy all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't always easy all the time. I'll tell you that. But that's why prayer, exercise is important. Prayer, meditation, exercise, all these things are very important and key. I would say to your success. You know what I'm saying? Because distraction is real. You know what I'm saying? You know, the popular terminology of the day is, hater, play a hater, troll. You know, trolls are real, haters are real. So let me take the time to promote myself. You know, I feel so much more comfortable with this YouTube shit. It used to be when I first started live streaming, I wanted so much attention in the immediate that you try to hurry up and satisfy the people that's watching. Well, I really don't give a fuck about the people that's watching right now. I have a lot of views of people who watching the replay. So I've learned to create great content and just to be comfortable as a content creator, because the viewers who watch you live, most of the people who watch you live don't like you. You know, they're not watching you to benefit you. Like, no one's even commented in the comment section. So most of the people who watch you live don't really benefit you. So I've learned to create the content. So that's why I'm sharing, taking my time, regardless of who likes it or not. You know what I mean? I'm taking my time to share the video, to promote the video before we get into showing the updates. And I'm gonna show the updates in a minute. I got a couple videos I'm gonna show you on Bill Cosby, Felicia, and Dylan. But I'm gonna promote my show real quick. Get out a couple. Remember what I told you guys? Everybody with a wrench. It's important. Even after the show, you can still share the show. That's what's amazing about this social media thing and this computer. Even I wonder, because a lot of the people, I got young and old people who watch me. But did you guys know you can still share the show even after the live stream is over? You can still share the show even after the live stream is over. So, I mean, anybody that support, if you at work, busy right now, I know my brother Ken be on the road. So even if you at work, you watch it later, you can still share it. And remember what we want to do. We want to share it in the Facebook groups. You know what I'm saying? Because I know a lot of people may not want to share my content with their family members on your Facebook page. But what you do is you join the Facebook groups. You know what I'm saying? Join the Facebook groups. And that's how we get to push the channel out there, push the message out there. What else can I say? So we just shared on Facebook, on Twitter. I'm gonna share it on Reddit. Am I logged in on Reddit? Let me get logged in on Reddit. Everybody got their AMC. I remember Gerald used to come through and talk about the AMC. Everybody got their AMC and their GameStop. I have bought some AMC and GameStop on my Cash App. I don't know if I had Weeble. I had one of them. I don't remember which one I had, but I had one of them. But yeah, okay. So I'm gonna share it some more as I play the video. So again, the first video is Bill Cosby. First video is Bill Cosby. He's been found liable. It's horrible. First update today. You know, I had to do the Bill Cosby update because I talked so much about Bill Cosby. That's my brother. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, look at that. I share myself. That's not the one I wanted to share. So I had to do the Bill Cosby update. Just hot off the press. It just came out. So a lot of people gonna be talking about it. So we got to talk about it because Bill Cosby, in my eyes, is innocent. So it's kind of confusing. You know what I'm saying? Because what happens now with this verdict liable with Bill Cosby? It's civil court. It's like O.J. Simpson, where Bill Cosby got to pay money, right? So Bill Cosby will have to pay money to this individual, right? But what happens now? What happens now with Bill Cosby? What happens now with Bill Cosby? Does this open him up for a criminal case? You know, and this woman, 50 years old, is this like, I don't know with these Amber Heard. I mean, we watching these cases, we being entertained. Is Me Too over? Or are they trying to push Me Too? Is this more distraction because of the midterm elections with Joe Biden? You know what I mean? There's a lot to unpack here. So let's take a look at what's going on with Bill Cosby in this lawsuit. How much he got sued for? How much he gonna have to pay? Is there a possibility of criminal law allegations? Up late, midday update, Perfect Timing Podcast, Bill Cosby updates. Stick with us, share the show. Let's go.
On trial for an accusation of sexual abuse that took place back in 1975. Judy Huth alleged that she was forced into sex acts at the age of 16 at the Playboy Mansion. Well, yesterday, the jury ruled in her favor, making Cosby guilty of liable for sexual assault of a minor and awarding Huth $500,000. This was after jury deliberations that had to be restarted on Monday after a juror was excused Friday at the mandatory court close of 4:30 p.m. So, Janine, I start with you. Were you surprised by this verdict, or was it expected, considering the update that we had last week that the jury apparently had decided all of the questions? The only thing that they hadn't decided was the issue of punitive damages, and that's why they had to go back and restart their deliberations. I mean, was it a foregone conclusion that they had found him liable, and were you surprised by that in the end?
So when we got that update, I mean, it was obvious to me that that's how they were going to find. But I was actually surprised that they got to that point because there were so many holes and so many inconsistencies. You know, she had gotten her age wrong. The girlfriend, said it was Donkey Kong that they were playing, and Donkey Kong didn't come out till 6 years later. They stayed, they took pictures. There were a lot of issues, but you have to remember, Bill Cosby didn't testify. Okay, so there were parts of his deposition that were played. There was parts of video that were played, but he wasn't there. And so without being there, even if he didn't ultimately testify, he comes across as somebody that you could kind of side against right off the bat, even if there are inconsistencies, because why don't you want to come here and clear your name? You're sitting on that jury, even though he didn't necessarily have to. It plays into your mind, and you're like, so what if she's got a couple inconsistencies? He's got nothing.
Yeah, but here's the thing. What's interesting, too, is he's a guy, right, who his conviction was overturned. He was released from prison. Then it became a question, Joe. You have these other lawsuits. He's going to be facing another one down the road. From 1975, you would think this would be a tough case for a jury to find in favor of the plaintiff. They did not. And so now that happened, I wonder the success for future lawsuits against Cosby.
I mean, this would embolden people. This is one of the cases that was given new life because of the extension in the law in California that allowed cases related to sexual assault rape to be brought many, many years after the fact. It basically reopened the possibility of statute of limitations for these cases for a couple years. And right now, as it pertains to this issue, Cosby's name is dirt. And in his mind, to the point that was just made, hey, listen, I'm not going to jail, so I'm good. So he wasn't going to come testify. So there's going to be inconsistencies 40 years after the fact, for sure. And ultimately, the Donkey Kong defense didn't work. I think that, without feeling a certain way about Bill Cosby or whatever else, that these should be difficult cases to prove. They're he says, she says situations. There's no physical evidence, of course, those types of things, just with the passage of time. But right now, if generally speaking, Cosby's not there mounting much of a defense, as it were, you believe this person more than you disbelieve them, and you can explain the inconsistencies with the passage of time, then he potentially has a problem. They didn't give her punitive damages. They gave her $500,000, assuming Cosby doesn't appeal it. he'll write a check and then just go on to the next one. So we'll see how much more of this actually happens. But right now, he just doesn't have a whole lot of credibility, and I think he would have had maybe some of the same problems in terms of being attacked on the jury than they would testifying 40 years after the fact.
Janine, I have to ask you, though, in terms of this case, does he have a good grounds for appeal? I mean, number one, there was the whole confusion with the jury. They were decided. The judge was actually going to read off 8 of the counts, was told over the objections of Cosby's lawyers, ultimately didn't do it because the court was closing, excused one of the jurors, brought in another one, had to restart the whole process over again, and now they came to their verdict. And on top of the fact, there was a report that one of the jurors had been photographed standing next to another Cosby accuser from another case. The court ruled that there was no conversation between the two. There was no impartial influence. There was nothing that happened. But it seems to me that Cosby's team has grounds for an appeal. It just becomes a question of if it will be successful.
Well, they absolutely have grounds for appeal, but do you want to appeal this, or do you want to just give her $500,000 and call it a day? Bill Cosby still has quite the fortune there. Do you want to keep relitigating this and having your family have to watch this and having it to have your wife have to watch this? Or do you just kind of move on? Remember, he had a lot of claims that were settled by his insurance company, so I don't know what's left out there. If I'm him, I just, he's an older person. I just kind of want to move on. I want to spare my wife any more of these details. His wife Camille stuck by him throughout all of this. He's got family. I don't think I would appeal. I think I would just kind of want it to just.
Goodbye, Speed Demon.
No matter what you call your car or why you're letting it go, AutoNation will buy it. Get paid on the
A 10-second ads. So what y'all think about that? I'm kind of upset about that. Did you hear that whole breakdown? So basically, because California, I remember that law, I tried to tell people to vote about it. So because California has a law allowed you to file a case 50 years later. Now think about that. Think about the Meg Thee Stallion case about all physical evidence going. The lawyer said these are he said, she said cases. There's no criminal thing that can be filed because you cannot prove beyond a reasonable doubt. It's only going to be about money. It's about lawyers making money. This could only happen in California. Because why would you allow this law? No one's going to go to jail. The only thing that can happen is that the lawyers get to go to court and you have to pay a lawyer. And at the end, someone gets some money. It's all about the lawyers making money. There's no victim here. There's no crime here. She's 50 years old. And then in this case, just like Andrea Cosby, that's why I said Bill Cosby has to sue these women. She lied. The same thing happened with Andrea Cosby. She couldn't remember the day. She couldn't remember her name. She couldn't remember the video game. And then this guy's laughing. I don't find it funny. The Donkey Kong defense didn't work. Well, you know what does work? The King Kong Kung Fu works every time against black men. The King Kong, turn a black man into King Kong and you're going to get money and you're going to get a guilty verdict because he's a black man. And Bill Cosby's reputation is supposed to protect him. He should not be getting found guilty because his reputation is tainted. It should work just the opposite. He should have a judge in that courtroom like Kyle Rittenhouse. That judge should have been fervently attacking that side like, look, this man has a bad reputation and you know it. So I'm going to make you prove that he did something, and you are not going to be able to get no leeway because you already know he has a bad reputation. So I'm not going to let you use that to get a guilty verdict. You're going to have to come with evidence. She lied about the video game. She lied about what happened. She had no idea what happened. Again, there was no sex like Andrea Constant. He didn't have sexual intercourse with that woman. Again, with this person, there was no sexual intercourse. So he ends up being found guilty from a liar. They take out the jury. Somebody leaves. They add in a new jury. They deliberated for like 2 hours. Bill Cosby didn't show up because he's 90 years old. He'd been in prison for 2 years for something he didn't do. This is someone lying. From the evidence, it's obvious that they're lying. They lied to police. In the court documents, they lied. And what the attorney say? Oh, Bill Cosby should just pay the $500,000. Last time I checked, gas is $8 a gallon. Gas is $8 a gallon. How you gonna tell somebody just because they got money to pay the $500,000? Like $500,000 ain't no money when inflation is double digits. $500,000 is a lot of money to people right now. Gas is $8 a gallon. So you're gonna just tell Bill Cosby, oh, he has the money. He's pretty wealthy. He should just pay. You want to take his wife stayed with him for 2 years in prison. You motherfucking right. We want to do an appeal. That's what I'm gonna spend my money on. I'm 90 years old. I'm 90 years old. That bitch can't have my money. We gonna do an appeal. How the fuck this bitch think she gonna get some money just to get it at 50 years old? Bitch, I am not your retirement. And California needs to be on notice because there's no way this law should exist. This law needs to be taken off the books because you cannot find people criminally liable. You can only find them civilly liable, so there's money. All this is a boondoggle for the lawyers. All this is open the door for a bunch of frivolous lawsuits to clog the courts. We got real cases in California. You got bunk beds 3 and 4 things high. You got prisons overcrowded. All this does is clog the court. I know it's a different court, but it doesn't fucking matter. It's bureaucracy. It's money, tax dollars. All these court cases from lying-ass women who believe that they're victims. This goes back to what Roger was saying this morning, this victim bullshit. She's a victim at 55 years old. This happened in 1975. Donkey Kong didn't even come out for 6 years. All right, we're going to go to the next update. The next update is Dylan Rounds. Dylan Rounds is a young man who lived in Idaho, but had a farm in Utah. I didn't know these states are so close. You know, this hella white shit. Idaho, Utah, this is very white. You know what I'm saying? And I know I share my video on Reddit, and some of the people on Reddit come over and see my beautiful melanated skin and don't like it. You guys watch on the replay. Don't worry, black is beautiful. But the next update is Dylan Rounds. And it's kind of another sad, I think we count our blessings, man. Count your blessings, man. Dylan Rounds, a 19-year-old young man. And it's kind of odd that he would move out of the house. You know, typically white dudes don't move out at 18. But Dylan Rounds moved out the house at 18. He had his own farm at 19 in a whole different state. And he's been missing. So it's a trending discussion. Today we doing midday update. We had 28 minutes. We're gonna get out of here in an hour. We ain't gonna keep you long. It's lunchtime, so this will be a perfect live stream to listen to on your own lunch break. You can get the Bill Cosby update, you get the Dylan Rounds update, you get the Felicia Johnson update, and then you eat your lunch, go back to work. Like, oh, perfect time. That was a good little podcast. I like that. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. You know what I'm saying? You're welcome. You know what I'm saying? You funky motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? Don't want to share, like, or subscribe, or hit the Cash App. YouTube motherfuckers is funky, boy. All some funky motherfuckers that watch YouTube. You know what I'm saying? But that's okay. Perfect timing. That's been called. And you know, this is why I do this shit. 19 years old, man. This is kind of sad, man. But it's not a simple case. This case is kind of complex. So at first you'd be like, okay, it's a missing case, right? So what happened to the young man? And let's find out what happened to Dylan Rounds. So I know a lot of people may have heard about the story, but I like this video because this is one of the few videos that's going to give you some background and some insight into what may have happened to Dylan Rounds. Very sad. Let's take a look.
Mysteriously disappeared on Memorial Day weekend, and his family is desperate for answers.
The family desperately searching for their missing 19-year-old son who lives in Lucin, Utah.
Authorities have ramped up their search for 19-year-old Dylan Rounds with a criminal investigation.
Where is Dylan Rounds? Is he just a missing person? Did an accident take place? Or is there something more going on in Lucin, Utah and Montello, Nevada? I'm your host, and welcome to the very first Unsolved Mysteries YouTube investigation, and we have quite the mystery for you today. So many strange things out of place: a negligent law enforcement agency, a convicted criminal stalker, a vigilante group, and a big secret Dylan is hiding. It's Saturday, May 28th at 6:51 local time. Dylan Rounds has just made a phone call to his grandmother from his farm to discuss his workday ahead. Near the end of this phone call, Dylan mentions to his grandmother that he anticipates some rain later on and he needs to put his grain truck in the shed. He says he'll call her back, but this is the last time that Dylan is heard from. Later that day at 3:41 p.m., Dylan's cell phone pings the tower for the last time.
So he speaks with a family member on the 28th of May.
Correct.
And that's the last contact anybody's had with him.
Correct.
Did he say anything unusual?
No, just said he had to get his grain truck in because it was raining.
That was it?
That was it.
So when did you realize something wasn't right?
So his grandmother sent some of the people out there she knew to go check on him because she hadn't heard back from him. And then we kind of put it together on Monday that nobody had spoken to him, because you would go 2 or 3 days without hearing from him. That's not uncommon. But he was always in contact with either Justin or myself or his grandmother or his friend JD. He was always in contact with someone. So it took, a day and a half to put together that he'd been in contact with no one.
So Monday comes around and Grandma asks people to go check on him at the farm.
So Grandma asked Sunday for people to go check on him at the farm. Monday is when we all went down and called search and rescue and the police out.
Once Dylan's mother makes it down to his farm, the search begins. They go through his trailer, they break into his truck, they call search and rescue, and the terror starts to set in. Dylan's mother notes that everything at first glance looks very normal. However, she or anyone else was unable to find Dylan's phone, his keys, his wallet, or his pistol. And to make this scene even more questionable, while going through the truck, Dylan's mother notices something strange.
So I got in the pickup to take it back to camp to Justin so Dylan's friend could drive it home. The seat was scooted up to the point I didn't even have to move it to drive it. Now, I'm 4'11", Dylan's 5'11". And he sits back far. And every time I've ever gotten Dylan's pickup, you can't reach the pedals. I can't. So I thought, well, maybe it's just the way the seat moves when you turn the pickup off, right? So I made a mark in the dust, turned it on, turned it off, and to where the seat went back, and it's not where it was at. So it wasn't just because somebody got out of the pickup and let it go back to a setting. It was placed there. His pickup was also in 4 low. So he had a new transmission put in his pickup this winter, and the transfer case got messed up, and his 4-wheel drive does not work. And Dylan knows this, his grandfather knows it, his father knows it, I know it. He's cussed it. The pickup was in 4 low. So whoever was driving the pickup thought they were putting it in 4-wheel drive, but the 4-wheel drive don't work.
The reason the 4-wheel drive clue is important to remember is because it had just been raining a substantial amount on Saturday. If anyone was driving Dylan's truck in the Utah desert any time during that weekend after a rain like that, they would have been fishtailing all over the place and slinging mud in every direction. A person who lives in a place like this would know that 4-wheel drive would help with some of these issues, but it doesn't make sense that Dylan would have turned it on purposefully. He knew it didn't work. So if the 4-wheel drive was turned on purposefully and the seat was in a position that Dylan wouldn't have put it in, that leaves us with our first major question. Who was in the truck? The last clue Dylan's mother leaves us is somewhat of a disturbing one. About 100 yards west of Dylan's farm, there is a dirt pile. Behind this dirt pile, just casually thrown on the ground, were Dylan's boots. To the parents, they find this heartbreaking, only because they've always known Dylan to just have one pair of footwear, his boots. To them, this was a very eerie sign, because in their minds, there was no way that their son just set out on foot, barefoot, into the desert. The nearest town is almost 20 miles away, and with a mountain standing in between Dylan and this town, they highly doubt he decided to make that trek. The leads with Dylan's mother, unfortunately, end here, and we're left scratching our heads as the family comb through the desert, coming up with more questions and answers, no matter which way they go. Luckily for Dylan and his mystery, his support chain has some more links. Dylan's grandfather presumably wanted to contribute more to finding out what happened to Dylan and hired a private investigator by the name of Jim Terry to investigate. When Jim Terry arrives in Utah, he attempts to call Dylan's parents multiple times while they allegedly refuse to answer all of his calls.
Were you hired by his mom?
No. That's a little bit of the problem here. The parents had a nasty divorce a few years ago. It was a horrible divorce. The mother and the father would not take my phone calls.
Working with what little he had, Jim started speaking to individuals locally that may have known Dylan.
I started digging into his lifestyle before he went missing. Didn't make sense. A 19-year-old wanting to live in the desert and start a farm and is wanting to do it since he was 9. I wanted to talk to any of his high school girlfriends, any of his friends, any people around his age, and there were none.
After a couple of conversations, Jim's able to conclude that Dylan has had a lot of communication with an individual named Kurt Wadsworth, who lives in Montello, Nevada, the nearby town.
He hung around a guy named Kurt Wadsworth. Kurt Wadsworth is a 60-year-old man who has 8 children and is estranged from the children, the majority of them, and his wife. This man lives in the area. His family is a bunch of local knuckleheads. They're drug addicts, they're pedophiles, they're criminals, and they're felons. This is all verified. Kurt Wadsworth was and is Dylan Rounds' friend. Now, I went back over Wadsworth's history as a brother named Troy Wadsworth, who's a registered sex offender. These people all live out in that area. I've had 2 really good leads on this. One of the leads involved a man who's a multimillionaire out there. He's an alpaca farmer. He got in contact with me, and he let me into a tip on this case, which is that Dylan Rounds and the 2 Wadsworth brothers that are older, one of them's a sex offender, and several other of their friends were policing that area on their own late at night. They had their own little militia group, their own little vigilante group, and they were going around in that desert stopping people, pulling guns on people.
It's a common occurrence in these tiny towns with some criminal activity for community members to form groups of armed individuals to go out and patrol the lawless land that surrounds them. And that's exactly what we hear is happening from the private investigator Jim Terry in the case of Dylan Rounds. And now we know, Dylan Rounds has a social group. The criminal history of Kurt Wadsworth is lacking, but his brother Troy is no upstanding citizen, registered as a sex offender and a convicted stalker. Whether Dylan knew of Troy's criminal status is unknown, but Dylan was seemingly comfortable enough acting as an armed vigilante alongside of him. That amount of trust isn't earned easily, and the relationship between the brothers and Dylan seems like it needs to be looked into further. And just when we thought that this was weird enough, Jim drops a bombshell on the investigation.
I also found out that these 2 had a sexual relationship, okay? Dylan Rounds was gay. His family didn't know that. Boom! I could just tell you what that does to a bunch of farmers.
Jim has gained insight from none other than Kurt Wadsworth himself that he and Dylan have had an intimate relationship.
He was staying over at his trailer. I talked to Kurt Wadsworth. He said the boy stayed at his trailer continuously.
Kurt Wadsworth knowingly informed a private investigator that he had a close relationship with Dylan, and even told him that Dylan would stay the night at this trailer many times. While this does solidify Kurt's position as a suspect, the fact he's openly sharing this with an investigator is worth noting, as no one else in the town has shared this intimate detail. Shifting our lens to Kurt's brother Troy, it's apparent the family tree is beginning to wither.
Troy Wadsworth is a registered sex offender. He kidnapped a girlfriend of his and had her in a shed. He was busted for this. He had her in a shed, and he used her to lure 2 other women to this shed. We're talking about a shed, no plumbing, no kitchen. And
How long ago?
2018. And he had these women captive in this. Now, one of the women ran away barefoot. Basically, what they said is that he would put them in this trailer, and he would exchange water and food for sexual favors. He also would take thumbtacks and put 2 gallons or a 5-gallon jug of water out there, put tacks in the water, and it would slowly drain. That was part of their torture. One of the women who had a daughter there got loose, made it to a post office, and they went and got these girls, and these girls basically would not testify against him. As soon as they had their advocates, as soon as they met with police, they basically just disappeared. And I'm trying to track those 3 women down. There is police reports about this, and that's why he only did a short amount of time. and it was for something like internet pornography or something. It wasn't even for capturing these women because they wouldn't come out against him and say that that is what had happened.
Troy Wadsworth's criminal history is enough to qualify him as suspect number 2 in this investigation, but this disturbing history isn't our only lead.
Troy Wadsworth is not a very good guy. I also found out that in the last 2 weeks, Troy Wadsworth has nail marks, scratches up and down one of his arms.
Not only does Troy Wadsworth have a criminal history, but he also has defensive wounds in the form of scratches up and down one of his arms. I was able to find these more recent photos of Dylan, and it was clear to see that Dylan either bites his nails or keeps them very short. This means that it would be unlikely Dylan's nails would be able to leave wounds that lasted over 10 days. Is Troy back to raping women, or are these wounds actually a clue as to what happened to Dylan? With the Wadsworth brothers and their personal relationships with Dylan, one might think their role in Dylan's disappearance is obvious, but our suspect pool doesn't end here. Earlier on in the search for Dylan, the YouTuber Heavy D Sparks made his way out to Dylan's farm to meet the family and perform an aerial search in his helicopter. At one point during his video, Dylan's mother brings up an interesting person who seems to have a connection to Dylan.
Out here, we've been getting so much information from locals, and it's just a circle. It's none of it's been true. Nothing we have chased it.
Where are all the squatters at from here then? So
Everywhere.
just everywhere?
Everywhere, this whole valley.
Is there a few that we're thinking have the most to do with it?
The ones that are right here, the one that lives up here, and the one that was helping him.
The old grumpy guy over here.
The old grumpy guy, and
They were actually working for Dylan, and I don't think they, like taking orders from a 19-year-old to begin with. So,
and he's not talking to anybody, not cooperating.
He talks.
He talks, but it's just
doesn't give him much information.
no, it's no
Come
information.
in the morning, see what our plan is, and then give us a few hints on where to go, and we spend all day in the wrong place.
Right.
It turns out that this disgruntled ex-employee of Dylan's, Dawn, was actually the first person Dylan's grandmother called to check on him after she hadn't heard back from him.
Saturday, when Karen didn't hear back from him after putting the truck in, she got a hold of Dawn Sunday morning and said, go check Dylan, blah, blah. They said, Dawn went and checked. He said the camper's, his pickup's locked. We can't tell if his guns are in there. He hasn't been here. So then he went and got Jim, and they went and looked again. So I guess.
So the grandma called Dawn first.
Yeah.
And then Dawn and Jim were the first ones to look.
Yes. And so throughout this, so I have Karen thinking back on it, like, did they say anything like, don't worry about it, he'll be fine, everything's good, so she didn't alert me or Justin, his dad.
Why would Dawn think that Dylan locking all of his property up and leaving it behind was normal and nothing to worry over? Another individual suspected of knowing more than he's telling. Our last and final clue in this investigation is the most concerning one, as it nearly guarantees that there was foul play in the case of Dylan's disappearance.
There was also a gun in Dylan Rounds' trailer that the first 2 days the parents went in there, which I was speaking with the family but was not retained at the time, was not there. When they checked the trailer a day or two later, the gun was in the bathroom. Somebody brought that gun back.
One man missing, 3 suspects. Do you think any of these individuals had anything to do with the disappearance of Dylan Rounds? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching this unsolved mystery. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and we'll see you next time.
Whoa, I did a lot of research today on that. I had to find that video because I wanted to give you guys some background. Dylan Rounds, 19-year-old boy from Idaho, has a farm in Utah and comes up missing. But under investigation, we find out that the parents are not being helpful and he had a homosexual relationship with an older man. Now, do you think he left home at 18 because he was gay and he was in Utah is Mormon. Utah, that's Mormon. So I'm thinking maybe he left home at such a young age because of his proclivity, right? What do you guys think? Not to judge him on whether or not, I'm not saying that's good or bad, right or wrong. We're in 2022. I'm just saying that maybe it was difficult for him to have this conversation with his parents. His parents had got divorced. Wow. So now he moves out at 18, but it's not just that he's having a gay relationship with a 65-year-old man, but he's also, like Kyle Rittenhouse, a vigilante. And he's part of, or like Ahmaud Arbery. You remember Ahmaud Arbery? The parents, the son and the father and the son are both going to jail for the rest of their life for murdering Ahmaud Arbery for being part of one of these vigilante groups where they drive around the neighborhood and they police these open areas. So he not only was in a different state like Kyle Rittenhouse, he was in a gay relationship. We never wondered if Kyle Rittenhouse was gay because Kyle Rittenhouse did have an issue with getting into arguments and fights with women. Remember, he had that video where he was going to beat up that girl in high school. That's sometimes that's an inclination of somebody who might be homosexual who hasn't come to grips with it. But we don't know if Kyle Rittenhouse is homosexual. He might be. But so Dylan Rounds comes up missing after moving to another state, engaging in a homosexual relationship with an older man and being part of this vigilante group. The gun is missing. The gun shows up days. Where does the police? Where is these? This is today. This is happening right now. You need to count your blessings and talk to your kids, watch your kids, have a conversation with your kids. I mean, even if you're not okay with their sexuality and what their choices are, everybody needs to understand and be honest and upfront so that we can protect the family. Whatever your decision is, we all need to know so that we can protect you. The next case is the same thing. The next update, we have 46 minutes. The next update is the same thing, where even if you choose to be a sex worker, in 2022, if a woman chooses to, she can be a sex worker. It's legal. It's legal for her to work in a strip club, be on OnlyFans, but I would let your parents know so that you can be protected. Because what we talked about today on the Roger Report is victim. Do you see a victim? Like, is there a victim in this case? A lot of these cases, like, there's this whole victim ideology, right? But if you leave home at 18 and you're engaging in these things, where is the victimhood, right? So in the next case with Felicia Johnson, same thing. Out of state, away from family, engaging in illicit acts, and then something goes wrong. And then no one knows what happened. No one knows where their baby is. It took a whole month before they charged somebody on the Felicia Johnson case, and now they don't even know where he is. We're talking about victim. Where's the victim in this? You chose to be a sex worker. That's why I chose this picture in the thumbnail. Look at her with the alcohol. You see her? She's dead now. For all the little girls who want to have a hot girl summer, her hot girl summer ended with her dead. And the person who killed her, they can't find him. She has everything you guys want. She got the eyelashes. She got the long hair. She got the body. She got the tattoos. Look at her. She got the drink. She got the iPhone. Everything all you girls want. That's it right there. That's not a victim to me. She's not a victim. Someone called her, paid her for sex. Well, that's what she thought she was getting paid for, but it was a demon who called her. And he paid her for her life. And now she gone. She could have been a doctor, a lawyer. Felicia Johnson. So this is today's update. So I want y'all to check out this update with Felicia Johnson. This one ain't that long like the last one, but it's a lot of details in the description, and I got more details in the chat. But let's see what's going on. The latest thing that after a month of not finding, this girl went out of state to dance, right? And after a month of not even being able to find the girl, they find the girl, and now they find out that she was actually murdered. The person who murdered her cannot be found. The person who murdered her cannot be found. And I believe the reason we're not going to be able to find them is because we didn't know what happened to her for a whole month. If we would have known what happened to her day one, then we probably could have found the killer because he wouldn't have been able to have a 30-day head start. Y'all hear what I'm saying? We didn't know what happened to her for 30 days. I got a video in the playlist that I've created. You can go back to where she first came missing and the father was looking for her, right? It was 30 days before we found out that she was murdered. And now that we know she was murdered and who murdered her, we don't know where he is. And he did research on how to become a serial killer. So more daughters are at danger. Midday update.
Texas EquiSearch volunteers that found Felicia Johnson's purse in Bear Creek Park, close to where Johnson's family found her cell phone. And although Houston police believe the 24-year-old was murdered, they still have not found her body.
Bear Creek Park, it's thick in areas. There's some little roads that go off. There's some little areas that would be simple to pull in and dump something and get out without being seen.
Tim Miller says his volunteers stand ready to search again. The suspect, Chukwuebuka Nwobodo, is charged with murder, but still on the run.
We actually didn't even do call outs for all of our members because we didn't want a possible suspect to know where we were searching or what we were doing.
According to court documents, here's the timeline Houston police homicide detectives have laid out. On April 16th at 2:56 in the morning, Johnson is last seen at the Intercontinental Hotel at the medical center. She gets into an Uber HPD says was ordered by Nwobodo. He responded, detectives say, to an ad Johnson placed online. The Uber took Johnson to Nwobodo's old address on Windchase. Then he picks her up and takes her to his apartment on South Richmond, according to police. An hour later, his car is seen on surveillance video leaving the complex. And at 5:12 in the morning, Johnson's phone connects with a cell tower near where her family finds it in Bear Creek Park later that day. The next 2 days, HPD says receipts show Nwobodo took out money, purchased supplies, and his internet searches included things like most forested parts of Houston. On May 13th, detectives got search warrants for his car and apartment. He was taken into custody during a traffic stop, but it's unclear when he was released. In the apartment, investigators found very strong support of Johnson's DNA, and in his car, a gun, knife, and shovel.
My fear is now that, hopefully I'm wrong, that this is one of them cases where she's never going to be found.
That's some cold shit. Her body could have been decomposed and ate up by now. You hear what he said? These old people found the remnant. So she was dumped out there, but they can't find the body and they can't find the person who did the crime. Now, the timeline said April. Now, what's key about this update, I'm going to show you another video before we get out of here. What's key about this update is this timeline said April. Do you realize it's almost July? Father's Day is, what is it, June 22nd, June 23rd? We just now have these details in June. I'm going to go to a video and show you. We didn't know this. We didn't know that she was selling her body. Her parents didn't know that she was out of state prostituting herself. This is a victimless, where's the victim is what I'm saying. Her parents didn't know that she was out of state prostituting herself. When you hear this story, you think that that they had these details, right? No, this is not the story. Don't you guys remember this case? You don't remember? Let me play it. I'm not gonna play the whole video. I just want to remind you, y'all don't remember this case? No. She was a missing person. We just found out that she was prostituting herself. Remember, her family was saying she didn't do that. She wouldn't do that. Now comes to find out that she was prostituting herself. Oh, let's go to the tape. Let's go to the tape.
Uber was taking too long to really get here. So a gentleman here at the club offered to give her a ride to where she needed to go. Felicia has not been seen since. No cell phone activity, no credit card activity, no social media. She came here, stayed for a minute, for a little while. She called the Uber. Uber was taking too long to really get here. So a gentleman here at the club offered to give her a ride to where she needed to go. Felicia has not been seen since. No cell phone activity, no credit card activity, no social media activity. She has absolutely just vanished off the face of the earth. The family was able to get the last ping of the location of where she was with the cell phone. That cell phone was found discarded on the side of the road at Bear Creek Park. On the side of the road right there at Bear Creek Park, and the phone was covered in blood. We believe that she is the victim of foul play. We believe that she's being held against her will. We believe that she, hopefully by God's grace, is still alive. But we want whoever's holding her to know that we will not rest. We will not stop looking. We will continue looking for her, and we will continue hunting you. No matter what takes place, we will continue hunting you, and we will not forget Felicia. We believe this young woman is the victim of foul play. She's been kidnapped, and that she's being held against her will. And law enforcement needs to do a better job of taking this case a lot more serious than they have. Once we found that cell phone covered in blood, law enforcement still took their time getting involved with the family. And then we were able to speak with law enforcement, myself in particular. Then they began to make some moves and get busy. But still, we believe had they responded quicker, more could have been done by just coming to this nightclub and getting the surveillance footage of who she got into the car with, getting surveillance footage of who the gentleman was inside the club. We understand that there's cameras on the inside also as well as the outside. And so they have footage of who this gentleman was and what car he was driving. I spoke with the lawyer yesterday. He said he would do all he can to help law enforcement with his.
So what you have here, just to jog your memory as we come up on the hour. Shout out to the 5.0. Thank you for everybody that came through and watched. It's a fire live stream. I ain't been live in a minute. It feel real good. As we come up on the hour, I just want to jog your memory about the Felicia Johnson case. The Dylan Round case, I gave y'all 15 minutes. So you got a good round understanding about that case. Bill Cosby, you know who that is. But I just want to remind you about this case because this was national news in April. If you recall, you see that guy standing right there, that's the dad. So this should wake you guys up. To all the black women, I got a lot of women who watch me. Thank you to all the women and sisters that watch me. I love you. Thank you for your support. Y'all remember this case? Remember when they said she went to go to this club to ask this white club, can she dance at the club? That's the only information that we had. That she was out of town visiting family, and that while she was out of town, she was a professional dancer, and she was gonna dance at the club. Let's see. Do y'all remember that? Let's go.
Until I have you back. It's a tragedy that you've been caught up in this net of whatever they got going on out here. Down, and I don't know where my baby is or what's being done to her.
This is an iPhone 11 Pro from back.
And he's traveling here from California. He's here from California.
What have these last days been like for you and your family? I can't put it into words. I'm trying to hold myself together and not just break down. And I don't know where my baby is or what's being done to her. And I can't put it into words, but it's like anguish. Just, I don't know.
This is the last place
This is the last place she was seen right here. Getting into a car with some gentlemen. and we haven't seen her since. The phone was found on the side of the freeway, about 6 feet off the freeway, in the grass. So.
And I have to be honest, the club has not been cooperative. They just started being cooperative when they heard I was going to hold a press conference. They would not cooperate with us or the family until we threatened to go public. What they also don't know is when we send in the investigator, who's Hispanic, who looks white, they were speaking and he was recording the conversation. And we have them on tape in this club, the management, saying that we were not going to give her a job anyway. We don't hire black girls. We don't let black girls work here. So she already walked into a place.
Y'all remember this story? Y'all remember this story? They said she was at a strip club. They tried to put it on the strip club, get the strip club shut down, investigate the strip club. They said that she went to the strip club was racist, that she got in an Uber, and they won't tell the family what Uber she got into. But in the news report that we played, I'm gonna play it again because it was only 2 minutes, that she was actually at a hotel. She was actually at a hotel with a customer. Everything in this news report, this lawyer, the father, they didn't know anything. All of this was BS. They had no idea what this girl was up to. They had no idea what this girl was up to. And if they would have known, you would have been able to find the killer, because they weren't looking in the right place. They weren't looking in the right place because they didn't know she was a prostitute. They weren't looking in the right place because they didn't know she was a prostitute. She wasn't at the strip club. She lied. She didn't go there to dance in the strip club. She went there to prostitute herself. Let's go back. Y'all, hold on.
Any more questions?
What's the latest with HPD? Where are they at with the investigation?
We don't know.
They're supposed to be here right now, but they're not here. They're supposed to be a part of this whole thing.
And they want to come and join us.
They're not here. Absolutely, he didn't make it.
After we had already alerted them that we found a cell phone with blood all over it. We got pictures for you. Come take this cell phone. Make like a deal.
We went the same day. She came out here just looking for her to celebrate her birthday and to work to get some employment in the strip clubs.
Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that? Perfect Timing Podcast did it again, man. I know some people mad they don't like the prostitute. It could be YouTube and the slugger rhythm. We don't gonna say the real word. We're gonna say the slutter rhythm, because slugger rhythm, because they don't want to slugger with the slag. You know what I'm saying? But we don't care, man. We still going in. It's been a great live stream. We 3 minutes over, so we're gonna end it up pretty soon, real quick. But I just wanted to give you guys some background on this story, man. So did y'all hear that, man? Did y'all hear that, man? So what he said was she came to Houston for her birthday and to work in the strip clubs, but that was a lie. I'm gonna play it one more time. Let's play it one more time so everybody understand this Felicia Johnson, because it's a lot of people who do stories. Miss V do stories, Boss Blake do stories. Subscribe to Miss V, make this go viral. Subscribe to Boss Man Blake. Subscribe to my brother Street Doctor. Street Doctor called me. I was gonna jump on the live with Street Doctor, but the wife had me go run around and everything. But a lot of people do live streams on different cases. So I want to, I know Miss V be watching me on the replay, so I know she's going to like this. So check this out. Miss V, I know you remember this case from April, and this is the father from California. He said she came to Houston to celebrate her birthday and work in the strip clubs. One more time, Perfect Timing Podcast. Will you run that back one more time, Perfect Timing Podcast? Run that back one more time, please.
You know, the love of my life, and I was just wanting her back.
What made her come to you?
She came out here just really for her to celebrate her birthday and to work to get some employment in the strip clubs. That's why she was here. We got some family in town. They live in all parts of the South, so she was just really out here just to celebrate and work.
And when was her
All right. That's what the dad said. Now, if the dad would have known the truth, we're talking about victims today. If the dad would have known the truth, you may have been able to find the killer of your daughter, because that's not why she was there. That's not why she was there. That's not why she was there, and she wasn't at that strip club. They blame that strip club for being racist. That strip club has a right to have preferences. If the strip club has white dancers, they have a right to have preferences. Some people want to look at white dancers with skinny booties. Everybody don't want to see big booties bouncing around everywhere. It's called a preference. So certain strip clubs, it's like you got Twin Peaks, you got Hooters. You know what I'm saying? There's preferences. Everybody gonna have a different preference. So what's wrong with this strip club tailoring to their market, right? King of Diamonds don't have any white women in there with little asses. Everybody in King of Diamonds is a black woman with a big old ass. Is King of Diamonds called racist? I'll wait. Is King of Diamonds called racist for not having skinny white women? Okay, so she was not there to dance in the strip club. She was not there to celebrate her birthday. She was not at that strip club. Where was she? This is going to be the last video today. I'm going to tell you, in this video, we're going to go through the timeline. Where was Felicia? But we didn't know this in April, because if the dad would have known this, we would have found the killer. So let's find out, where was she?
Volunteers that found Felicia Johnson's purse in Bear Creek Park, close to where Johnson's family found her cell phone. And although Houston police believe the 24-year-old was murdered, they still have not found her body.
Bear Creek Park, it's thick in areas. There's some little roads that go off. There's some little areas that would be simple to pull in and dump something and get out without being seen.
Tim Miller says his volunteers stand ready to search again. The suspect, Chukwuebuka Nwobodo, is charged with murder, but still on the run.
We actually didn't even do call outs for all of our members because we didn't want a possible suspect to know where we were searching or what we were doing.
According to court documents, here's the timeline Houston police homicide detectives have laid out. On April 16th at 2:56 in the morning, Johnson is last seen at the Intercontinental Hotel at the medical center. She gets into an Uber, HPD says, with
Right there. Perfect Timing Podcast with the Blast does it again. I blow up that other story. Everybody who know the Felicia Johnson story right now, what you know just got blown up. In the previous story, everything you heard is that the last place that the cell phone pinged, at the last place that Felicia Johnson was at the white strip club. That is an untruth. Now in June 22, we know that the last place Felicia Johnson was at the Intercontinental Hotel, turning a trick. Back to the tape. Just so you know what I do this shit. She was not at the club. She was never at the strip club. They were wrong. They were looking in the wrong place. That's why you haven't found a killer. But we didn't know this because they didn't know why she was in Houston. She wasn't at Houston to dance at that strip club. She was at Houston to go to this hotel to be a prostitute. Back to the tape, Perfect. Back to the tape, Perfect.
was ordered by Nwobodo. He responded, detectives say, to an ad Johnson placed online. The Uber took Johnson to Nwobodo's old address on Windchase. Then he picks her up and takes her to his apartment on South Richmond, according to police. An hour later, his car is seen on surveillance video leaving the complex. And at 5:12 in the morning, Johnson's phone connects with a cell tower near where her family finds it in Bear Creek Park later that day. The next 2 days, HPD says receipts show Nwobodo took out money, purchased supplies, and his internet searches included things like most forested parts of Houston. On May 13th, detectives got search warrants for his car and apartment. He was taken into custody during a traffic stop, but it's unclear when he was released. In the apartment, investigators found very strong support of Johnson's DNA, and in his car, a gun, knife, and shovel.
My fear is now that, and hopefully I'm wrong, that this is one of them cases where she's never going to be found.
There never was a strip club. It sounds like they had some video, Tommy. Sounds like they had some video of the killer leaving the hotel and her leaving the Intercontinental Hotel with him. So they can confirm that she was with this gentleman to purchase and have a sex arrangement. So it sounds like they have video of her getting in the car with the gentleman. They confirm via text messages, because you know when you're a sex worker, you got to get the money and everything confirmed online. They didn't give us all the details, but what I'm telling you is that what they can confirm is that she got in the car and via text messages, she had confirmed that she would have sex with this individual for money. The strip club was never in the timeline. The strip club was never in the timeline. She was never at a strip club. It was all a lie to her father and her family. We just talked about this morning. She was never at a strip club. It was a lie. She was a prostitute. She went there as a professional sex worker. She was a prostitute. They have text and video of her arranging a sexual transaction with this individual. When they found the cell phone, that was after he dumped. It had nothing to do with the strip club. How sad is that for the father to find out 2 months later that your daughter lied to you? Your daughter was not a dancer. Your daughter was a prostitute. And her illicit behavior got her murdered. How, YouTube, what's the right word? You want me to say hoe? Because it seems like YouTube don't like the word prostitute. Let's say sex worker. Let's say sex worker. Because I'm not trying to offend. I don't want to offend Felicia. We don't want to offend YouTube. And we don't want to offend the father. But my point is this. That she was not a dancer, sir. She did not go there to celebrate her birthday, sir. She was a sex worker. And she had a transactional relationship with a client that went bad. And you didn't know that she was a sex worker and that she took on clients professionally. You didn't know that. We didn't know that. We know it now on Father's Day. We know it now on Father's Day. Ain't that some shit to find out on Father's Day? And when you find out on Father's Day that your daughter was a professional sex worker and she lied to you, you find out that her client evacuated her. And now, because she lied, 30 days have gone by and you won't find her body. You can't have a funeral and you won't find the killer because so much time has went by because you were busy trying to sue the strip club because they was racist. Can we stop with the racist stuff? Can we stop with the race stuff? Can we focus on ourselves? I'm really tired of the race. I'm tired of the racism. I'm tired of us dealing with how we jump over race and get to sex. Like, this race is not even real. We all humans. Racism was created by the powerful people to keep us separated. But you know what's true about America? America is a great country because this is the one place where the two most powerful entities in the world figured it out. You know why China, Russia, everybody's scared of us and can't beat us? Because America is the one place where the white man and the black man, the two most powerful, influential people on the planet, figured it out. We're not supposed to work together. But when the white man and the black man create what's called America and American culture, it's undefeatable. World War I, World War II. When the white man, Civil War, going back to the Tea Party, When the white man and the black man, that's what America is. Why you think we never got invaded? These countries are monolithic countries. It's all Chinese, it's all German, it's all Russian. You don't have a mixture of where Chinese have been forced to live with Russians and make themselves as one people, one language, one religion. And they're much stronger as this one. You don't have that anywhere else in the world. Even though the white people forced it to happen, the end result is you have a nation of where these two groups of people who are diametrically opposed have come together. How do you beat that if white men and black men work together? You haven't been able to beat it yet. So they try to, what they're doing with social media is to get embedded in between and divide that apart. And once they get it divided apart, then you can knock it down. Then you could knock it down. Once I put people over here, and I say, well, you are this sex and you this color and you this and you that, then I can knock down America. But I can't knock down America if America is this amalgamation of you can't knock down America when America is America. You can't. There's nothing else like it. So you got to use social media. You got to use propaganda. You got to use innuendo to separate everybody. This is what George Soros and the billionaires are doing with Black Lives Matter and all these organizations. What you need Black Lives Matter for in 2020? We came all the way to 2020, Buck Rogers and AI, and we still dealing with racism. Nah. You don't need Black Lives. You don't need this shit now. Who benefits from it? The Black Lives Matter leader bought 5 houses. If she cared about anything she talked about, why did she buy $5 million house? Because it's not about that. The goal, the only thing you could say about her buying those homes is the goal was not what you thought it was. And you feel duped. You feel duped because she bought those homes. She's married to a white man who dresses up like a white woman. You feel duped. You're like, oh shit, what was it all about? What was the goal? The goal was to get you to look at white people differently, even though it's 2020 and you don't have a reason to get white people to look at black people differently, even though it's 2020 and there's no reason to. So that we can take all the shit down and we can get people to put on and do all type of stupid shit. Because we got separated first, and then they could get us to do stupid shit because we all in our little corners. But if we all Americans and we all together and we all talking to each other in the grocery store, then we could be like, you know what, this doesn't make sense. But I just wanted to come in today and do a quick midday update. Thank you to everybody. Like this Felicia Johnson story, it really touched me because we were talking about victim today on the Roger Report. So when you look at this and you look at protecting, men are supposed to protect and provide. This father, on Father's Day, he had to find out that his daughter was a professional sex worker and she lost her life to one of her clients. And he believed that she had went to Houston, Texas to dance in strip clubs and celebrate her birthday. How can he protect her? How can he protect her and provide for her if she lies? You have removed yourself from my protection. You're not a victim at this point. I'm not trying to be mean. You have removed yourself from my protection. You're not a victim at this point. Not only have you removed yourself from my protection, you have placed yourself in danger. As an adult, you've made an adult decision. It's not like you're a child and you made a mistake, like Roger made a mistake being in that neighborhood. But this is an adult. So you remove yourself from my protection and my provision, and then you make an adult decision to put yourself in harm's way by being a professional sex worker and being in a room with a strange man and exchanging sex for money. Anybody listening would agree that that's dangerous. That's dangerous. That's why the PIMP exists. You don't need a PIMP. The only reason you have a PIMP is for protection. Protection, guidance, and provision. Because this is dangerous line of work. This is a strange man in that hotel room. The PIMP is to ensure your protection. That strange man knows that there's a big 6 foot, 300-pound gorilla outside who wants his money and his woman back to make more money. The PIMP is for provision, protection. But she's there renegade because there is no more PIMP. Men don't matter. I don't need a man to be a professional sex worker. I'm not afraid. Nothing's going to happen to me. Are y'all listening to what I'm saying? I can go out of state, away from my father, lie to my father, and engage in illegal, illicit sex acts for money. And I still am seen as a victim? How? How is this a victim? I don't want anything to happen to her, but you know what? I don't want anything to happen to the next woman who believes in this city girl hot summer. It's not real. There's consequences. We tell young boys there's consequences to carrying a gun, to selling drugs, to being in the gang. You can get murdered and go to jail. Well, baby girl, there's consequences to your hot girl summer. There are dire consequences to your hot girl summer. And as an adult, you're not a victim. She don't get a second chance in this video game. She don't get another life, y'all. Boop, 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 boop. She don't get another life. There's no more quarters. She was, look at this picture. Look at the picture I chose for my thumbnail. Look at the picture I chose for my thumbnail. Look at her. Look at her. The 30-inch weave, the mink eyelashes, the alcohol, the cell phone, the tattoos. She should be married. She should have been someone's wife. Roger been saying it every morning. Hot girl summer my ass. She's prostituting, selling her body. Was she gonna get married one day? Was she gonna, after this summer of selling her body, was she gonna want to marry a, was she gonna be one of these black women on a dating show saying, pineapple, you ain't good enough, and thinking nobody knows that you used to be a professional sex worker? You should be someone's wife. Instead, the definition of living your best life for this generation is this. This is the definition of living your best life. Single, drunk. Alcohol is a spirit. Women, when I was growing up, women didn't even drink alcohol in public. If a woman were to drink alcohol in public and she was single, that would mean that you were not a good character. And a good quality man wouldn't want to date you. I'm going to say that again. If a woman, and now people thinking, listening is like, damn, that makes sense. Shit, fuck, that makes sense. If a woman, when I was growing up, was drinking alcohol in public and she was single, that was a sign that that was not a good woman of good character. Because why would a single woman be full of spirits and alcohol in public where no one could protect her, provide for her? Victim, remember, we're talking about victim today. Why would a single woman drink alcohol in public when she could become drunk, inebriated, and not be able to protect herself? But that's hot girl summer. That's living your best life. Single, unmarried, which means unprotected for, unprovided for, alcohol, sex for money. That's your best life. That's a hot girl. That's fun. Look at her. She's having fun. She's having fun. She lied to her father. This was her summer. This was her birthday. On your birthday, this is the young women we're trying to educate and protect. Man, I'm trying to protect my son against this person. On your birthday, you decide to lie to your father, go out of state, drink and have sex for money. This is her choice. This was fun. This is mind-boggling to me that this is fun for a beautiful young girl. This is what she wanted to do for fun. Nobody forced her. There was no man there. There was no PIMP. She arranged this date at the Intercontinental Hotel alone. She flew out of state alone. She lied to her father alone. Why are we even looking for her? Why even look for her? You wouldn't look for me. You wouldn't give a good tootin' rootin' bootin' about me or my son. Why are we even looking for her? She lied. All the taxpayer dollars it cost, like Meg Thee Stallion, all the money it cost for a lying, no good, low down sex worker. I'm not going to say the word because they don't like the word. We talking about victims today. Does anybody see a victim here? Because I don't see a victim here. Look at this picture. Look at this picture. Why was she not someone's wife? You, Beyonce, you supposed to be my fiance. Hey, Beyonce, you supposed to be my fiance. Taking a picture. You see her? Posing for the gram. You see her? Huh? Forever immortalized. Forever immortalized. Posing for the gram. Posing for the gram. 26 years old. When was you gonna get married? When was you gonna stop being a sex worker? When was you gonna stop dancing? When was you gonna stop drinking? You know, the alcohol pollutes your womb, makes it difficult for you to breastfeed, for you to carry a child to full. I don't want to talk. Y'all don't want to hear me talk. Y'all don't want to hear me talk. The Percocets. They didn't tell you that. Do you go to the OBGYN? They didn't tell you about the Percocets, baby girl. They didn't tell you that they could affect your womb. That the lining might be too thin. That you might have to have a cesarean. You might not be able to give natural childbirth. That the life expectancy of your child might go down. They didn't tell you about the Percocets, baby girl. They didn't tell you about the alcohol, baby girl. That the water of life, that the baby rests in your womb, you don't want it to be full of alcohol. The fetal alcohol syndrome, you didn't tell you about fetal alcohol syndrome, baby girl. They didn't tell you about that. That if you keep popping pills, getting high all through the 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, huh? You're still at the club, 33. See, you think, somebody said in the chat, Roger, somebody said in the chat that 30 is young, right? Okay, so you're still 30 years old, dotting it up, popping a pill, having a drink. Now, perfect timing, you old perfect timing. It's just one pharmaceutical pill. Percocet is not a big one. I work in pharmaceuticals. I know what it is. It's downstream consequences of your uterine tract, all that shit. That's why you got UTIs all the time. You didn't know why you got them uterine tract infections all the damn time. That shit got to come out your body. Fetal alcohol syndrome. So you 30 years old, you're still popping pills, you're still drinking alcohol. And then when you finally want to get married and then you want to have a baby and the OBGYN telling you about the risks for you. If you get pregnant, you could die. I know somebody right now had to stop a pregnancy because the doctor told him she's not old. If you get pregnant, you could die. Not the baby, but you could die. How many people in the chat know black women like that in that circumstance right now who cannot get pregnant, and they not 50 years old. They not 50 years old. So, hot girl summer. How old is Meg Thee Stallion? How old is Meg Thee Stallion? How old is Meg Thee Stallion? How long we gonna be drinking, smoking? I don't have a womb. Everybody, you can't be a man. I don't have a womb. I don't have breasts. I don't have to breastfeed. Growing up in the hood, I know women who drank alcohol while they were pregnant. The alcohol come out. You know, babies can be born epigenetics. You can be born out. You can pass down alcoholism. Did you know that? It's in my family. I know that because it's in my family. My grandfather was an alcoholic. It's in your DNA. You can pass down alcoholism. Did you know that? Did you know that? Hot girls. Hot girls. Did you know you could pass down alcoholism? Hot girls. Did you know that when you breastfeed, alcohol could be in your breast milk? Hot girls. Did you know about fetal alcohol syndrome? Hot girls. Did you know the water of life, if you're drinking your water of life that you carry, you ever heard break your water broke? The water of life. The water of life. Hot girl. Did you know that, hot girl? I don't think no one is telling you. I don't think no one is telling you about. You think you can just keep popping the pills, drinking the alcohol, having sex with multiple men, and you let them excrete inside of you? Those chemicals affect your hormones, your makeup. You, hot girl, you, not the man. It was fun for 5 minutes. Ooh, girl, he could have sex really good. Ooh, that was good. I was drunk. I was high. That was fun. Let's do it again next weekend. You carry that. You carry the spirit from that. You carry the chemical excretions from that. You carry that. When you 50, when you got when you got these tumors, when you got all this shit wrong with you, all y'all cystic fibrosis, you carry all this shit. They never told you that having sex with multiple men would affect you in your body physically. Why they didn't tell you? Yes. They said, I want to be a man slut walk. Okay, you want to be a man slut walk. Well, you should have went to the OBGYN. And you should have found out from the OBGYN, what are the results of me at 50 years old? Because I have a vagina if I allow over 100 men to ejaculate in me over the course of 20 years. If I slut it out. What physical, what physical consequence? They never see, Amber Rose ain't a doctor. Why would you listen to Amber Rose? She's a stripper and a sex. Amber Rose ain't a doctor. Amber Rose said, slut it out. I know you about to go call your OBGYN now. I know you about to go. Some of y'all don't even know what an OBGYN is. I pray you have an OBGYN. If you're sexually active as a woman, I pray you have an OBGYN and you know their name and you see them on a regular basis. Hopefully you had a guy, what's the word where they clean y'all out? Shit. What's the thing? Toya was in the chat. What's the thing where they give you not a colonic, where you need to go to OBGYN and get your shit cleaned out. They got it. I forgot the name of it. God damn. But there's a thing where they clean you out. You need to go to OBGYN and get that plunger, man. And you need to be going on a regular basis, man. Man. All right, man. I'm gonna get out of here, man. I didn't went overtime, man. It's supposed to be an hour. I didn't went overtime. I just started preaching, man. I didn't went overtime, man. You know what I'm saying? See, Toya said, I know. So he said, I don't know what it is. I never got it before. You know what I'm talking about, Toya. The OBGYN, man. You know you go to gynecologist and they do that thing where they clean you out. They put that thing in you. The gynecologist, what's it called, man? When they do the investigation, when they put you on the stirrups and they investigate your hoo-ha. You gotta go to the gynecologist and get your hoo-ha. They do that thing. I forgot what it's called. Where they and they put the thing in you and they put the thing in you and make sure your hoo-ha is healthy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the speculum, but it's a procedure. It's a procedure. But see, Toya, you need to go to the see, men, we gotta get a checkup, right? But women gotta get 2 checkups. If you got a wife, you gotta make sure your wife get 2 physicals. She gotta get a physical with her primary care doctor, but she also gotta get that thing. She gotta get that thing. She gotta get a physical on that thing. You feel me? You gotta weigh the thing, you gotta smell the thing, you gotta taste the thing, you know what I'm saying? You gotta probe the thing, make sure that thing is healthy. That thing might need a prescription, you know what I'm saying? You know, Mr. Perfect, yeah, doctor, how you doing? Yeah, Mr. Perfect, I just got the, remember T.I. said he was going to the doctor with his daughter to get the report back, you know what I'm saying? It's like taking her to Grand Auto, you know what I'm saying? It's like taking her to Pep Boys, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Perfect, we just got the report back. Oh, you got the diagnostic on that thing, huh? Yeah, man, we got the Carfax back on that thing. Okay, let's see what that Carfax is hitting for. Yeah, man, we got a couple of things. We got a flat. You got a flat on the back rear tire. Did you know you had a flat? Yeah, man, I kind of felt that last week when we went on vacation, man. I did a little too much. So we got a flat tire on the rear, huh? You got a flat tire, and we're going to have to replace some belts. You know what I'm saying? The timing chain needs to be replaced and an oil change. Okay, to get some lubricant. Yeah, we want to keep that thing nice and wet. You know what I'm saying? So the doctor come back with that Carfax, say, you need you an oil change, you need some new belts and a flat tire. You know what I'm saying? Okay, doctor, hook your boy up, man. Go ahead and, you know what I'm saying? Give me the prescription and give me the proper soaps and lotions and everything. You know what I'm saying? We get that flat tire, get that oil change, and get the belts fixed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. But we're going to get up out of here, man. Perfect Timing Podcast with the Blast, man. Live on 3 channels, man. Perfect Timing Podcast Live, Facebook Live, Patrick Potter. Shout out to Toya Tudor for hanging out. Shout out to Tommy Rocks. Shout out to the whole 5.0 crew. A short podcast, man, so y'all can go back and watch, man. We did updates on Bill Cosby. He was found liable, $500,000 for a case from 1975. She couldn't remember her name. She couldn't remember the location. She said they were playing Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong didn't come out for 6 years. She lied to police. She lied, but she still won. She won $500,000. Dylan Rounds, 19-year-old from Idaho, moved out at 18, had his own farm in Utah. Turns out that he may have moved out because he was having a gay relationship with an elderly man. He not only was involved with a homosexual relationship with a 65-year-old man at 19 years old, but he was also part of an illegal militia that would go on night raids and pull out guns on random people in the desert. He is now missing. That is Dylan Rounds. Lastly, Felicia Johnson. Felicia Johnson, in April, we all saw in April her father and that weasel attorney come on TV and said that his daughter was missing, that she was last seen at a racist strip club. Y'all remember, in April, that dad and that weasel lawyer came on TV and said my daughter was missing and she was last seen at a racist strip club. Today on Perfect Timing Podcast, we learned on Father's Day that they found out that she was murdered and that she went to Houston not to dance in the strip club, not to celebrate her birthday, but she was in Houston being a professional sex worker, and they have her on camera at the Intercontinental Hotel getting in the car with a client. They have text messages saying that they had arranged a transaction, and they have video of the murder suspect leaving. They can't find the body. They can't find the gentleman. If she would have been honest with her father and allowed him the ability to provide provision, we at least may be able to find the killer. But 30 days or more has gone by and there's no physical evidence, no body. We don't know where she is. We don't know where he is. Just to piggyback on my brother's talk about victimhood today. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. I want y'all to have a blessed day. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the replay. Yo, check me out in the morning on the Roger Report. Check out the Roger Report live. Shout out to the Black Manosphere. Yeah. My name is Perfect. This is the Perfect Time to Podcast. Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for fucking with your boy, man. We got more to come, man. Check out the playlist, Fifi. It's on private right now, but I'm going to release it in a minute. But share the show. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. Roger even said you don't know when I'm going to go live. But if you hit the notification bell and you stay up on your boy, catch me when I'm live or catch me on a replay. I don't mind if you watch the replay. If you watch the replay, leave a comment. Leave a comment. The comment helps the video get into the slogorithm. So if you're watching on replay, leave a comment. You know, leave a criticism. You know what I'm saying? Perfect, you get on my nerves. You know, Perfect, my wife always watch you while my wife is so in tune with what you're talking about all the time. You know, leave a comment. You know, and I'll talk to her, fly her out. In a minute, y'all.